Sabres get through the weekend in third in the Atlantic Division after a 5-0 win on Long Island. We're talking goaltending, we're talking the win, we're talking standings. Coming up on the Locked On Sabres podcast.
Your Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome in. Monday edition, a new week here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you listen to your podcast. You can watch our show on YouTube, like and subscribe us there. You can get into our Locked On Sabres Everydayers Club, where you get private access to our Discord. You also will get ad-free versions of this show. Sign up for that. Go to lockedonsabres.supercast.com. Stinky Joe DiBiase here on a off day between games. The Sabres winning on Long Island on Saturday. They are in Toronto for a game tomorrow night on the road, as they got a couple of home games coming up after that. But first, one more game in Toronto, a team that is right behind them in the standings. I guess not right behind. They're down a little bit. We'll get to that game tomorrow. A lot to get to on this show. We're going to talk goaltending and also the win against the Islanders, as the standings look great. I had the standings open in a tab all weekend. Anytime I had my laptop open, anytime I had my computer open, just every 2-3 minutes, let me just click over. I'll do it right now. Just throw it up. NHL.com/standings. There it is. Third place, 63 points, a 3-game win streak. Points percentage, 618. Gotta love that. It's above Montreal. It's above Boston. And a good amount above Florida, Philly, Toronto, Washington, all of it. I got another way of looking at the standings. I want to get to that a little bit later on today's show. I'm almost every day looking at them in a new way, like different context, the teams around you, and that's adjusting, right? Some teams are winning, some teams are losing. The out-of-town schedule wasn't actually that bad for the Sabres over the weekend. A lot of teams losing. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But a lot to get to first here on the show on goalie and the win against the Islanders. The Sabres afternoon game. I said it before that game. Nothing goes well on Long Island. Nothing ever. When's the last time you felt good about a Sabre game at the Islanders? It never seems to happen. They'll always lose these low-scoring games. There was the Hudson Fasching game, of course, a couple of years ago. And that is one of those games that nobody has any fond memories of. It's just not a good... I mean, look at their results against the Islanders in recent years. A lot of road losses as of late. And the games are never fun. And this game was different. This game was fun, a lot of scoring, and some of that had to come late. It was only 2-0 out of the second intermission. It was scoreless after the first intermission. So it took a little bit of a ways to go. And you got new heroes popping up every single night. And of course, Alex Lyon was number one in this game. And we'll get to him and we'll get to the goaltending in a little bit in the big picture. But he was awesome. He lets in that first goal that doesn't end up counting, where he got bowled over by Casey Cizikas. And, I thought watching that one, you got a little lucky. I think two things can be true, though. I think you got a little lucky, and it was the right call. He got bowled over before the puck was shot and before the puck was in the net. So therefore, yeah, definitely a penalty on either side that should be called. But because of the positioning of Lyon and of Cizikas, if he doesn't contact him, that puck's going in the net. So you got a little lucky that Cizikas got too aggressive there, too close to the netminder, and he was, costing himself a goal there. So a lot of good moments for Lyon. None bigger than the power play in the second period, and it was still a 1-goal game. I mean, the Sabres had a 2-minute man advantage where they didn't get a quality chance, and the Islanders had 4. 2-on-1s, a breakaway that he stopped on Bo Horvat with the blocker and looked very confident in doing it. I mean, never looked like he was under any duress. He was just locked in this game. And on that power play, I mean, one of the most abysmal, a power play is bad when you win 5-0 on the road And the coach and the media are talking about how bad the power play was in postgame. It was horrific. One of the worst power plays I've ever seen. At least one that didn't result in a goal. I mean, it's amazing the Sabres didn't give up a goal on that man advantage. And they were giving it away, and Zucker at one point kept the play going when they probably should have just had him freeze it, get a change. They didn't do that. They were tired out there. They were out there too long. Lyon bailed them out and got them through it and kept the game at 1-0. And you keep giving your team chance after chance after chance, and the Islanders get more tired and more tired, and eventually you're going to break through, and they did. Zucker got that first one early in the second period, a nice little play where McLeod finds Quinn in the slot, and Zucker's on the back door and is able to cash it. That was his 12th of the year at the time. And again, Lyon gets you through to the end of the second period with that lead, and then what a deflating goal if you're the Islanders to give up to Tage Thompson with 13 seconds to go. You're about to go into the second intermission down 1, and you're not a team that really is coming back all that often. Like, they are a team that has always been, and is again this year, built to have the lead. So Benson and Thompson coming in, and what a play. I don't still really fully understand how Benson got this pass to Tage Thompson. It kind of defies the laws of physics. He rolls it. I think the best explanation is he rolls the puck along the side post, and it kind of sticks to it before it shoots out right in line with the post, which makes it, kind of a straight out pass to get to Tage Thompson. But that direction, that path seemed closed off because of how deep Benson went past the net. But I guess not. He found a way. He found a way. He got it through. His 18th assist of the year on Thompson's 27th goal of the year. And that was a killer. That was a killer for the Islanders. You go in now, it's 2-0. And if there was any thought that they were going to put together a comeback, because teams have been doing that to the Sabres, and the Islanders don't do that a lot, but the Sabres have been giving it up. Bam. Right out of the gates, third period, Jason Zucker, a wraparound-ish goal. I mean, he kind of slingshots it through Riddick between the legs before he really was expecting it, on a little bit of chaos that was going on in front of the net. So that line gets 2 goals on the night. A very strong effort from the Ryan McLeod line. McLeod, by the way, with 2 assists on the night as well. And then it's just take us home, Alex Lyon. And he was able to do it. He was fantastic. He has really been fantastic for 2 months. We'll get to the big picture on the goaltending, but he was incredible. In this game by itself, if you look at the some of the advanced numbers that Lyon saw, because the numbers in general for him, he saw in this game a total of 26 shots and turned all 26 away. And if you looked at the goals saved above expected in this game for Alex Lyon, like how good was it on that front? He saved 2.94 goals above expected. Piled it on a little bit in the second and the third period, but that was about even on the night for the Sabres. And you got 5 goals scored by Buffalo, 0 for the Islanders. So really, really critical element of that game was them. Benson also not just getting that 1 assist that made no sense. Gotta love him. Scott Mayfield, 6'4". He's pushing and shoving in the corner, along the boards. Benson not backing down. Benson just living in the other team's head. He's getting booed. My favorite quote of the season was by Zach Benson this weekend. Read it in Matthew Fairburn's article at The Athletic, that he loved being booed on Long Island, and that his goal is to be in the NHL, is to be booed in all 31 NHL arenas that aren't Buffalo. That's incredible. You got to love it. And I think the nickname Scrappy Doo is starting to take off a little bit. A caller on WGR last week, proposed that. We were tweeting about it a little bit. I saw Dmitry Filipovic, one of the national guys, was tweeting Scrappy Doo for Zach Benson. So we'll see. Maybe that gets off the ground a little bit. When we come back, the goaltending, big picture, how good it's been, some numbers on that. It has really been one of the lifebloods of the Sabres during this streak. and it's showing no signs of slowing down. That when we return on Locked On Sabres. Today's episode of the Locked On Sabres podcast is presented by Rocket Money. Let's be real, managing your finances can be overwhelming between subscriptions that you forgot about or bills that keep going up and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month. It's easy to lose track, and who has time to track every transaction or hunt down hidden fees? That's where Rocket Money comes in, the personal finance app that helps you take control. It'll find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. It tracks all your subscriptions. You can cancel them right away in the app. Just a couple of taps. No more hunting down those customer service numbers. The automatic transaction categorization is a game changer. You can finally see exactly where your money is going each month, set all the budgets and goals, get personalized insights, receive real-time alerts for large transactions, upcoming bills, and low balances. It even consolidates your checking, your savings, your loans, and investments into a single dashboard so you get a clear view of your entire financial picture. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/locked-on. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. rocketmoney.com/locked-on. Sneaky Joe DiBiase back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. 5-0 Sabres over the New York Islanders. I got a set of data in front of me. I know get off to a real exciting start here, but on the Sabres, 3 goaltenders, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Alex Lyon, and Colten Ellis, since the 10-game win streak began on December 9th. And I'm not giving all the credit to the goaltending. They've been a well-balanced team during this torrid pace that they have been on. They are scoring a lot of goals. They are 4 lines deep right now. They are penalty killing incredibly. Their blue line is very active offensively and has been very solid in their own end. They are physical. They are gritty. They are everything you want except a good power play. That's the only thing they do not have. It's the one thing. But hey, when you're good at everything else, you can get away with not having a good power play. And they're proving that right now. Goaltending is a piece of that equation. The thing that has troubled them this entire playoff drought. 1 year, 2022-23, that they missed absolutely because of strictly goaltending. They missed the playoffs by a point, and that's what the reason was. The number one reason was. And other than a couple of Linus Ullmark seasons, some of which you didn't even get full years because he had some injury problems while he was here in Buffalo. Miller at the very end, at the beginning of the drought, like there just haven't been large stretches of good goaltending in Buffalo. Luukkonen had a good 2-3 months a couple of years ago, and the season ended up looking okay because of that. Right now, what the Sabres are doing during this stretch, going back to December 9th, all 3 goalies are giving the Buffalo Sabres incredible production. And I've got some of the numbers on that. But Lyon right now, after winning against the Islanders, is now tied for the franchise record win streak. 9 wins in a row. 9 starts resulting in wins in a row for a Buffalo Sabres goaltender is tied for the most all time. Whenever he gets back in the net, he'll have the chance to break that record. And he's been good almost the whole year. He started really well. He had that little tough stretch in the middle. And then, bang, the light is switched on. And that's even with having an injury in between. The last time Alex Lyon lost a hockey game, this is how long it's been. We were all in the arena, not just me specifically. I mean, I don't even think I was at that game, but I was watching on TV. Everyone in the arena, the last time Alex Lyon lost a hockey game, was chanting, "Fire Adams and sell the team." Remember the 5-0 defeat against the New Jersey Devils at home? It's their last bad home loss. They lost 5-0. Adams was still the GM. Pagula was in attendance, and fans were livid. And the season looked like it was going off the rails. That was 2 months ago. Almost 2 months ago. And on a Wednesday, it'll be exactly 2 months. That's the last time he lost a hockey game. And in that time since, 9 games, 9 wins, a 9.25 save percentage, 11.3 goals saved above expected. Awesome. Luukkonen in that time period between December 9th and today also has allowed 11 goals below expected. That is, I should really be consistent with how I put it. He's saved 11 goals above expected. Put it that way. Again, 22 goals saved between those two with a league average goalie should have gone in the back of the net. That's incredible. Add in Colten Ellis, who is not near those two. He's also played a lot less. He's only played 4 games. He's at 2.3 goals saved above expected in that amount of time. So between the three of them, they have saved 24 and a half goals, roughly, above expectation. That is unbelievable. And where that ranks by league standards is right at the top of the league for at least 2 of them. Now, I'm doing it on rate. So, I'm doing it by like per minute basis, per 60, so that it kind of equates everybody together and you can really see the efficiency of it. So on that, this is how I think of it. The best goalies in the league since December 9th. Alex Lyon, and that number is third best. And this is out of like 80 goalies. You got Luukkonen at 9, and you've got Colten Ellis at 18. All 3 top 20 out of 72 goaltenders in that time span. All 3. That is maybe the most incredible thing, that we've reached the end of January here. And we really stopped talking about, well, which of the 3 goalies is going to have to go. Maybe it ends up happening. I'm resigned to the idea that that's not going to happen. They will go through the season, and they will not get rid of any of the 3. It's working. It's working. They're all playing well. I mean, Ellis, we talked about him the last couple times he played. Bit of a crazy person. Little wild. Can't cover the puck for some reason, but he makes big saves, and the numbers look good. They're not as good as the other 2, but they're pretty good. They're good enough to warrant him sticking around a little bit longer. So, not dumping him. And Luukkonen's played this 10-game stretch for him has been maybe the best 10-game stretch of his Sabre career. And Lyon is, of course, approaching the franchise win streak record. So, I think they're going 3 goalies the rest of the way. And if all 3 are going to keep playing this well, I mean, it kind of works, right? Like, because Luukkonen had an injury at the beginning of the year, and you had Ellis, and Lyons had 2 injuries since then. And when that happens, you have Ellis. Like, I guess the good news is all 3 are playing well, which means you're protected from a potential injury. And you've got right now your top 2 guys who have both dealt with injuries this year. Ellis, by the way, has dealt with injury too. So 3 guys, all have been injured in the last 4 months. Keep all 3. I don't think it's ideal for the long term. I would not recommend they do that going into next year. And maybe there will come a roster pinch at some point here. Kulich gets healthy, whoever, where they will have to make a decision and they will have to cut one. But for the time being, they're all playing well. They are a huge reason why the Sabres are winning. And I don't see a reason to cut any of the 3. I think you keep rolling with it. And I think you keep going Lyon and Luukkonen back and forth. Ellis just kind of hangs out until he's really needed. I think that's probably the best way to approach it. By the way, if you're wondering, tomorrow night in Toronto, it looks like Luukkonen is going to start. And that would mean that Thursday against the Kings at home would be the most likely place for Lyon to shoot for that all-time Sabre win streak record for a goaltender. Amazing goaltending. Again, one more time on those goals saved above expected numbers. 11 goals saved above expectation for Luukkonen, 11 for Lyon, and 2.3 for Ellis. And per minute, that's 3rd best in the league, 9th best in the league, and 18th best in the league in that amount of time. I mean, standing ovation for the Sabres goaltending. And Lyon, of course, being the peak of that on Saturday on Long Island with the shutout. All right, when we come back, look at the standings, another way to approach it, and it's really looking at the 3 teams that are pushing the Sabres at the moment more than anybody else's. That when we return on Locked On Sabres. Today's episode of Locked On Sabres is presented by Indeed. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Hiring? Indeed's all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on the other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs will put your posts at the top of the page. It'll help you reach the right candidates faster. Instead of struggling to get your job post seen, Indeed sponsored jobs will help your listings stand out and reach quality candidates faster. Sponsored jobs will boost your post to the people who are the best match for your role, and that makes a real difference. And according to Indeed data, sponsored job posts directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all the boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium placement that it deserves at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now. Support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed. Sneaky Joe DiBiase wrapping things up here in the Locked On Sabres podcast with a look at the standings. And to me, the most important way of looking at the standings right now are the teams that are immediately behind the Buffalo Sabres in the Atlantic Division. But shortly before we do that, how did the weekend go? It went pretty well. It didn't go amazing, but you got some good results in your favor. Going back to Saturday night, the Bruins beat Montreal in regulation, and that was the key to that game. Just have that game end in regulation, and maybe you wanted Boston to win if you had to pick, but regulation is what was important there. The bad news on Saturday was the Red Wings won in Winnipeg, and the Panthers won in Minnesota. Could have really used some help from the Western Conference there. They are not getting help from the Western Conference all year long until Sunday. A couple of results on Sunday that were good and a couple that were not great. Toronto falls to Colorado. Willie Nylander, by the way, shown flipping off the TV camera for some reason. But the NHL, if they suspend Willie Nylander, like, just get off your high horse. Who cares? What are you going to suspend him? Whatever. They'll probably just find him. Kraken beat the Devils. Two teams that are a little further down the standings that I'd like to not have to worry about. They do have a lot of talent on those teams, but they're finding ways to lose, and they did on Sunday. Florida wins in Chicago pretty easily. Pittsburgh wins in Vancouver. You don't have to worry about Pittsburgh as much. Florida is a team to think about right now. So this is the way that I'm looking at the standings as it currently sits. The Sabres have 63 points in 51 games, third place in the Atlantic, tied in points with Montreal, but they have one game in hand on the Canadiens. Same 1 point above Boston, game in hand on Boston. 4 points up on Florida with no games in hand on Florida, but 4 points up. Florida is currently out of a spot. The next closest team, Philly, Toronto, Washington. So here's the way I'm looking at it today. The Sabres are 6 points back of Detroit. Now, they do have 2 games in hand, but you're 6 points back of Detroit. And you are 6 points ahead of Philly, Toronto, Washington. For sake of conversation, let's say that nobody makes up a 6-point difference on either the positive end or the negative end. And that's not that great a chance. I mean, that's a lot of movement. So let's say it doesn't happen on either side. Well, then I'm dealing with the teams that are right around me. And at the moment, the Sabres are top of the pack of a pack of 4 teams that are going to be fighting for 3 spots. That's how I currently see it laying out. Toronto beats Buffalo tomorrow, and then maybe we change our tune a little bit. The Sabres beat Toronto, and then this will only be more entrenched as a point. But right now, if you don't get a 6-point makeup on one end or the other, Buffalo, Montreal, Boston, Florida. 4 teams, 3 spots. You got to be better than one of them to end the drought. That's it. I think that's how the season is currently setting up. See if that changes. But I think right now, chances would be, if you're better than one of those 3, just one, Montreal, Boston, or Florida, you're going to make it. That's how I currently see the East playing out. Who of the 3 is most likely? I would still answer Boston. Boston has 3 more points than Florida. Florida has a game in hand on Boston. I still think Boston's the weakest team. Now, that's on paper. On paper this year, they have not been. They are 30, 20, and 12. They have had a couple of torrid streaks this year, and they've certainly, for the 9,000th time, proven me wrong on predicting their demise. In fact, last year, if you'll remember, I finally decided to not do it anymore, and because I was looking dumb, then they finally got bad, so I went, oh, okay, now I guess it's happened. And then, of course, thinking they're going to be bad again, now they're good again. So maybe I shouldn't predict their demise. Maybe I should tell you Boston's going to win the division, and then they'll go on a 10-game losing streak. But at the moment, I just don't think that Bruins team is good on paper. And all the advanced numbers back that up. Expected goals for percentage in the NHL, where these teams rank, this pack of four that I'm laying out right now. Florida ranks in expected goals for and percentage. It's just 5-on-5, and I know other things matter. Florida ranks 11th, right? Detroit ranks 16th. Buffalo ranks 20th. That's even a little lower than I thought. And Boston ranks 28th. They're one of the 5 worst teams in the league in that category. Sabres penalty kill is great. Sabres are getting good goaltending. That's part of why they're a little better than 20th right now, while that's their expected goals. And, of course, that's, really deflated by some of the struggles early in the year when they had injuries. I think Sabres are better than the Bruins. I think Florida's better than the Bruins. I think Montreal is better than the Bruins. I would expect the Bruins to be that team, but doesn't matter who it is. You just got to be better than one. It's better than one. And this week, you do have a couple of head-to-heads. Other than this Toronto game, you have Montreal on Saturday night. And you have Florida immediately after that on Monday night in Florida. So those are 2 big games head-to-head against those 4 teams. Sabres don't see Boston, by the way, until March 25th. So you got a ways to go, and that's actually the Sabres' only meeting remaining with the Bruins. So you got 1 left against Montreal. You got 1 left against Boston, and 2 left against Florida. Those are your head-to-heads right now against those 3 teams that it would really pay dividends to stay ahead of. All right, tomorrow is Sabres and Leafs in Toronto. I thought about going to this game, but I'm going to an NBA game on Wednesday in Cleveland, so probably not doing 2 trips in 1 week. If I wasn't, though, man, maybe I will go anyway. Toronto, tickets are like $80. $80. That might even be Canadian for the nosebleeds. Never seen a game in Toronto. Big game. The Leafs fans are like really upset. So that's always fun to watch in person too. We'll see what we get. We'll preview it tomorrow. We do know one little thing going into tomorrow, other than Luukkonen starting. So we know 2 things. Luukkonen is starting, and Benson and Josh Stone have flipped their lines. So Josh Stone is down with the kids, Noah Ostlund and Consta Hellenis. Benson is up on the top line with Tage and Tuck at the moment. And we'll see if that holds up tomorrow practice. Talk to you then here in the Locked On Sabres podcast. Be sure to check out our Locked On Sabres Everydayers Club. Again, you get ad-free versions of the show and our Discord. You can sign up at LockedOnSabres.supercast.com. Talk to you tomorrow here in the Locked On Sabres podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and now your #1 sports podcast network.